Narcissist, Ensnared, Episode 22. Wynne and Ashleigh sat in the living area. Wynne was shattered. He had attended to Christopher that morning and waited for Ashleigh to reappear. As time advanced, he was concerned, as he needed to be back in the city to collect his nephews, but she had not returned. He rang both her phones and shook his head as he heard their ringtones from the bathroom where she had left them. Thankfully, Wynne had received messages that both football matches had been cancelled owing to the snow, and therefore his assistance was not required. It was a good thing that had happened, as Ashleigh did not appear for over 2 hours. "Where have you been?" Wynne had asked in irritation. "I took Amelia to the competition and watched her first 2 races. She did brilliant. She won one and came third in the other. I would have won both, of course." "I was meant to be taking my nephews to the football," commented Wynne sourly. "Is it too late now?" "Yes, far too late." "Oh." "Is that it?" asked Wynne. "I was busy. It was important." "My nephew's football matches were important also. Not that you seemed to care. Thankfully, though, their matches ended up cancelled." "So what are you having a go at me for, then?" She had responded. "Don't you dare," warned Wynne. "I'm exhausted and not in the mood for it." "Don't try and blame me for your bad temper," she had said. Wynne had walked out of the bedroom and headed to the main bathroom, fearing that he would lose his temper. They had returned to the swimming baths. Once they arrived, Ashleigh was on edge and kept commenting about how she looked a mess and normally she would look far better. "What will the dads of the children think seeing me like this?" she had remarked. Wynne ignored her. Peter did not appear, as Wynne had predicted. They watched a couple of races and then returned to the house. Wynne agreed to stay for the day, and with Amelia at another party in the afternoon, they had gone for a walk amongst the snow-covered landscape. Nothing had been said about what had happened the night before. Wynne was biding his own time, keeping his thoughts to himself. As evening arose, Ashleigh poured them a glass of wine each and sat down next to Wynne. "Was there any gear left?" she asked. "No," Wynne lied. He had gathered it up when she had gone to the swimming pool and secreted it in his car. "Shame. I could just do with some. Do you think you could get some?" "No, I'm too tired." "Why?" Wynne looked at Ashleigh, and she wandered over to a chest of drawers. She opened the third one down and pulled out an exercise book. "This is one of my books from school," she declared. "Right." She began flicking through it and kept pointing to the high marks she had achieved for each piece of work. After a minute or two of doing this, she came to some writing in a corner of the page. "Look at this," she said, and tapped her finger. Wynne craned forward. The writing read, "Rebecca beat me in the exam. I think she cheated. I will beat her next year." "You wrote that?" asked Wynne. "Yes, I did. And I did beat her. I knew I would. I have never forgotten that exam where she attained a higher position than me." "That's a midterm exam 30-odd years ago," said Wynne. "So?" "Oh, it doesn't matter. Look, I want to talk to you about what happened last night." "I told you, I don't really remember." "You didn't say that. This is the first time that we've actually discussed it. You had me seriously worried. Leaving aside the fact that I'm absolutely shattered as a consequence of what went on last night, I need to understand what on earth you were talking about." "I cannot really remember. I remember bits. Yes, bits." "Let me help you, then. Wynne then detailed the whole of the evening, running through from his arrival until when he awoke in the morning. He spared no detail, able to provide each and every instance, sentence, conversation, and action. Ashleigh looked thoughtful. "It has happened before," she said. "When?" "When I was on holiday in Spain." "Last year?" "Yes. I don't know what causes it. I think it's stress-related. I just withdraw into a bubble until it passes. I saw my doctor. He thinks it arises from some kind of trauma that I've suffered." "Do you remember what you were saying?" "No. I just remember little bits. It's all a blur." "I decided to stay here today, even though I'm exhausted, because I thought that you might be worried that if I went home, I might be thinking adversely about you because of what happened. In fact, I was concerned that you would think that you were completely nuts, absolutely crazy after the way that you went on last night," explained Wynne. "Thank you. I knew you would understand." "Actually, Ashleigh, I don't. It was very odd indeed. And there has been much of your behaviour that isn't making sense to me." "I think it's been caused by him. I don't need any treatment, though. I just need you to keep loving me the way that you do." "Well, I'll obviously do that," assured Wynne, "but there's something more serious here. Look, I want you to come and stay down here this week. He's gone now, and you were fantastic with Amelia this evening. She really likes you. I would feel so much safer having you stay here. I can't sleep in the same bed as you, though. You can have the spare room. I will have to sleep in my bed with Amelia. We feel safer together like that." "Well, if it helps, sure. I can't stay on Thursday and Friday, though. I'm away on business Thursday through to Friday, and at a dinner on Friday. Perhaps you can ask one of your friends to come and stay instead." "I'll think about it. I would much rather have you here, though, Ian. I want Amelia to get used to you being here. That way we can move into our own place sooner rather than later." "Well, if you're sure, we do need to be mindful that she's only 8 years old, and all of this might be rather confusing for her," cautioned Wynne. "No, it's not. She doesn't have a dad. You will become one for her instead." "Well, she does have a dad, Ashleigh. It's Peter. And yes, I may become one for her all in good time." "Soon, please. I want it that way. It has to be that way. Don't be against me on this, Ian." "I'm not. I'm right with you. I'm just mindful of how all this feels for a young girl." "Oh, she'll be fine. It's me you need to look after." "Well, I'm doing that, aren't I?" answered Wynne. "Yes, you are. Now, will you look after me now? I've never made love in this room before." She put her glass down and slid across the settee towards Wynne and began to kiss him. "I can't get through this, Ian. He has won. I don't have the strength for this. I have to give it all up," cried Ashleigh down the telephone to Wynne. It was a Saturday morning, and nearly a week had passed. Wynne had spent the first half of the week staying with Ashleigh and commuting to the bank from her house. In the evening, they had attended to the children, eaten dinner, and then sat and watched DVDs together before retiring to the spare room and making love. Each night, she had badgered him to acquire more cocaine, but he had resisted, concerned at her frequent requests for it. They had, in essence, lived like a couple, and it felt good to him. It also felt good that he was able to keep more of an eye on her, as he was very concerned by the meltdown that she had occurred over the weekend. He didn't know what Sarah the nanny made of it all. She had always been in the house when they had returned from work, but he liked the fact that he picked Ashleigh up and then they drove down to the house, picked up something to eat, and then spent time with the children. Ashleigh was more than happy for him to bathe Christopher and read to Amelia. He was happy to help her, and she repeatedly remarked how wonderful it was to have a man who actually helped with the children. Wynne wondered what Peter would actually make of it if he knew that he was playing such a hands-on role so soon. He had initially been reluctant, but was also concerned for the children, given the way that their mother had been behaving, and felt that it was appropriate for a steady hand to be involved in the household. Thursday had seen him travel to Broadpool, and that evening in his hotel, Ashleigh and he had spoken for 3 hours. She seemed to want to keep him on the phone, so she knew that he was there. He felt that it was almost as if she thought that he would cease to exist if he put the phone down. In fact, he'd only been able to do so when she dozed off during the conversation. Friday was another day of text messages. For the bulk of the day they were upbeat and singing his praises, but then they ceased around 4 p.m, and he heard nothing from her until 9 p.m, when he was at dinner, when she had sent the following message. "Sorry I've not been in touch. Had a difficult time at the school. Kiss, kiss, kiss." "What happened?" Kiss, kiss, kiss. "I went to Amelia's netball and saw some of the mums from the school. They said it was too soon for me to move you in." "I don't understand. I haven't moved in." "I know. I tried to tell them, but they wouldn't listen." "How did they know?" "I don't know. I didn't ask. I was too busy defending myself." "Did you tell them that I was there because you didn't feel safe?" "Yes, but they didn't seem to understand." "Don't worry about them. They'll understand it when you tell them everything that has gone on." "Yes, you are right, as usual. I just got a shock when they said that." "Yes, well, you don't need that. You need support, not criticism." "Exactly. They are just like my family, always questioning me." "It will be okay." "Thanks. I feel a bit better. I am so tired. I'm with Amelia in my bed." "Good. You need to rest." "I know. I'm going to sleep." "Okay. Good night." "Good night." All of the messages with the customary 3 kisses. Wynne had heard nothing more from her. He wondered how the mums knew that he'd been at the house. Had Peter seen something and commented? Peter was still not at work and might have readily driven past and seen Wynne's car parked further up the lane. Had he been watching the house and seen them inside? He was something of a nutcase, and he wouldn't put it past him to be checking on the house. He was concerned for Ashleigh, as he wanted people to support her after everything that she had been through. The mums also knew Peter, and possibly he had been attending to his propaganda machine again, rather than thinking about leaving his wife alone so that she could concentrate on looking after their children. Now Ashleigh had called him. It was the usual Saturday morning call at 11 a.m, when Amelia had her flute lesson, and she sounded now in a complete state. "What do you mean, give it all up?" asked Wynne. "This. He's turned everyone against me. My family, the mums at school. That's why they had a go at me. It just seems pointless to try and carry on." "You've got me," said Wynne. "What's the point? It's too hard trying to keep going." "Don't say that. Haven't we had a wonderful week together?" "Yes, but that was last week. This is now." "It was only the day before yesterday," reminded Wynne. "It seems a world away. I can't do this on my own," she cried. "You're not on your own. Look, you can't give up. You've come so far. Don't let him win, Ashleigh." "He has. No, it's too late. I'm broken. I just cannot do it. I just can't." "Listen, you had a bad day yesterday, and it was probably a shock for the mums having a go at you like that. I don't know what was said. I wasn't there, but it does sound like they ganged up on you. You're moving forward. You've instructed estate agents, and they're coming out for the house. You have a new job. We are together. We will, in time, get our house. The divorce is on foot. It's all headed in the right direction." "I don't know, Ian. Maybe we should just forget about it. Is it really worth this? All this heartache?" "Heartache? What are you talking about? We're happy together. Read the text that you sent me yesterday morning. Shall I read them to you?" "No, that was yesterday, and yesterday has gone. I haven't the strength to do this. It would be better if it ended. I have to go, Ian. I have to go." She let out a huge wail of grief and then ended the call. Wynne felt panic rising inside of him. He called back, but it just rang. He tried again, but the same outcome. He felt anger too. How dare they gang up on her like that? They were supposed to be her friends. They should be supporting her, not questioning what she was doing. If they concentrated on doing that, she wouldn't be having this crisis of whatever it was that had caused her to call him. Wynne tried the phone again, but there was still no answer. He typed a text. "There will be days where it feels hard, but it will all be worth it. I am here for you, and always will be. Kiss, kiss, kiss. He waited to see if there was any response. None came. He could not stand to lose her. Not now. Not after everything that had happened so far. Each time something had happened, he had rushed to her side, ready to protect this poor, fragile woman who he found so enchanting and so entrancing. He couldn't bear to lose her. No, not now. Throughout the afternoon, Wynne repeatedly sent messages of support and encouragement. His concern grew as the hours passed, and he received no response. He recalled that she was meant to be going and seeing her good friend Louise that afternoon, so that Amelia could go horse riding. He wondered whether she might not be able to get a signal out in the countryside, and she was not receiving his messages. He was tempted to call, but she hadn't answered earlier. He just realized that he needed to wait, and the best thing that he could do in the circumstances was to remain quiet yet supportive. Haranguing her just appeared to draw a reaction and made her think of Peter. He did not want to do that. Wynne was due to attend a stag-do that evening. One of his former team members, Dean, was getting married and was having a bash in the city for those friends who were based there. Apparently he was going snowboarding as the other part of the stag-do with his more distantly based friends. He would welcome mentioning Ashleigh to Dean, as he knew her, and he'd be interested to know what he thought about their relationship. Wynne continued to send a message on the hour, and every hour, but nothing came back. That is, until around 5:15 p.m, when he was in his kitchen and his phone chimed. He saw the golden light and leapt for his phone and opened the message. I have a glass full of medicine ready to drink, but I keep looking at my children.